Bob Sorrentino from Italian Roots and Genealogy. Be sure to subscribe and check us out on Facebook and our blog and our great sponsors, Your Dolce Vita, Italy Rooting, and Abiativo Casa. And my guest today is Angelica Noonan. So welcome, Angelica. Thanks for being here.
Grazie, buongiorno.
So you live in South America right now, correct?
No, I do not live in South America. I born there. I grew up there. I moved to United States on almost the end of my 20s.
Oh, okay.
Found the father of my daughter, in one visiting vacation here. So because one of my sisters already lived here, so I met then the father of my daughter.
Ah, very good. That's nice. So your family, so you were born in South America, and when did your Italian family get there?
Okay, my grandmother, Giuseppina Azaline De Angelo, she arrived in Brazil with her father, her sisters, and brother when she was 7 years old. I believe there I put something, I think was 1911, 1913. They arrived in Brazil December 9 of 1913.
Oh, okay. So do you know why they went there?
Is another mystery. Between all the children, his brothers and sisters, only one kept there with, his father, Zenobio, and Cesare is my grandfather. What I heard, like my grandmother say something about, they travel a lot. So have sisters of her born in other countries. My grandmother, she always told she born in Lyon, France, but they register her in Farra del Pago, in Veneto, in Italy. And so they travel a lot, okay? And I don't know that something he was, something from him to try to find something better for the life, or just to explore, or what I heard when I was there in 2022 with my cousin. His grandfather wanna marry with an Italian woman, and his father told, if you married her, I will kill you. And he ran to Argentina. So after the mother told with the father, no, he loves her, you can't do that because we are Cimbre, okay? We will get it there. So they don't want to mix because in Cimbre we are Tedescos, like the German side, okay? So then he had to go back to, the mans have to go back to Italy, because they call the mans. And he went back and they told him was okay to he married her. So that breaks something. So for me, May was one of the reasons of my grandfather wanna be traveling to not suffering, the children, the wife, something from the Cimbre people, because she's an Italian. And her father was the Florestal Guards, but Italian. So I don't really know this point to tell you. Can be many reasons, for better life, for curiosity, or just to escape, to not be suffering something like he don't want for his wife and the children.
Well, no, and that's no different than most people, why they left. Do you know what kind of occupation he had when he got there?
Okay, Cimbre, they are always very well with the crafting. It's a big history because they help a lot of Venezia, and with transporting. But he entered like a agriculture, like people working, you know, on the land, and really, really, a profession was what they say here, agriculture. Agriculture, like for the farms to plant, you know, collecting, prepare the land for, you know, for the seeds to grow.
Yeah, no, I
That's
know
what
exactly what you mean.
he put it that for when he arrived in Brazil. And that he keep doing. He keep doing that, what my mother tell me. He always was working in a land he buy, a piece of land, he work, like he give 1-2 years, he make a little better business, you know, he change, he sell, then he go and buy more land in another place, like that. But he never really grew up, you know, in some way, but he did his life. I think it was the way he was happy, making he happy, making some way, I don't know. I hope so.
It sounds like it. I mean, it sounds like he, you know, he wanted to grow the business and everything. So, you know, you sent me a really great slideshow with some great pictures. How did you, were the pictures always in the family, or how did you come by all those pictures?
Okay, some pictures, you know, I took there on 2022, the year discovery, and I do not doubt about me. I thought is my vacation finally in whole my life, and then some image. What I say is my image I took there. I think the most and one and another are from the book.
So where did the book, how did you find that book with your, that's your family, I guess. Yeah, right.
Yes. There is my relative, Inocente Azaline. He write books. It's not only this one, but that is the one where have part of my family included there. Okay, so he bring there about like when the last villa of Cimbre. Okay. And they concentrated then in Del Concilio, is the second florist, large florist in Italy, protected by UNESCO as well. They, our side, they left Ruana because Cimbre people, they don't like to live under 100% of the rules of the government. Have many rules, like laws, they don't accept, don't match. So they decided to go far, you know, out of that cloud and to have, you know, a better life, live how they like, you know, how they believe. That's what I understood too. Well, you know, have things you never, you know, have things may you know you don't like or you like. So about, you know, ancestry. Then they have in Piancanai is where the villa where Innocent is still there, okay, his family. But my family, one house, he moved to Spert. Spert is a very tiny town. And he went to inside the forest and did a little lab to start work. And he told he will construct a house there. And the wife told, I'm not going that middle of nothing, you know, in the middle of the forest. But he told, but there is a camp, it's Campon, okay? Campon mean a huge camp, like you get a football place, you know, you see all that grass, green, you know, space, you can build things, have more level. So then he told, no, I will construct a house and then I open a road here and to make easier. And everybody started to laugh on his face. You are crazy. You open a road here. Get out of here. You are insane. You know, go, you know, like drink your beer or whatever, sit down there and be quiet because never will happen that. He brought a house, the family came, and he opened the road. What today is one very nice route to make shorter for many people to transport the goods to the port of Venezia.
Oh, wow. That's something. Yeah. And is
Yeah,
that the,
they left from him, but he don't left, now I know my father as well. Like I understand, like do not say not to them, don't doubt about.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a lot of information. So when you went there, how did you feel when you got there? Because there's a picture of you actually standing in, I guess what was part of the house.
I stand inside the house, just have the rocks. There were, the families came each one. So I'm inside the one of my family. And we don't have any more because on the Second War, they destroyed a lot. So they kept, the rocks there, the spaces. So Innocente, show me. And he took a picture of me, and yeah, that was one path. And you keeping that path, to the forest, then they have the little, a big tree is a beautiful place with moss, have a little water passing. It's like, look, dream. And I will tell you, that was vision what I was when I was kid. Okay, I have my escape. Who knows? And they have a little saint. So there where they go pray as well. Because Catholic,
Well,
part
yeah,
of Italy.
everybody's Catholic in Italy, right? And so what I found, because I know, well, I know at least one person by the name Azzolino. I didn't know that, Azza, I didn't know that that meant, X people. And
Exactly.
looking at the
Asa,
museum, that's very interesting. Yeah.
yes, Asa is from metal, ferro, não, ferro, iron. And then Azaline was the family work with the metal, but the axis, construct that axis, to cut the trees, the wood, everything. So that from back in history, so the families who work with that specifically, they are the Asa, then they come Azaline, no? So that was described those people.
Yeah. And like I said, I never knew that. So do you know how long they lived in that area? How far back were you able to get? Maybe that's a better way to ask the question.
Okay, I believe, Zenobio, he grew up in Ruana, so probably he left there on 1800s, but like if you see, we have like in the book, like putting back, you have it like in the 1700s as well. But to me, to get all that connection, I do not got it yet, but have it all, same kind of blood, and their relatives. And but the history, what Innocent got is from 1700s. But we are like the Celtic, like
Yeah.
back. And the Cimbre have a huge history. They help the Romans keep that side of Italy for, Italy. They help. As well, like in the Second War, just for you have an idea, in that area, all we are located, we have a base for war. It's closed now, but airplanes all the time, all these wars, happening. The airplanes are there. Anytime they need, they put it back. So they have a base there.
Well, and you could see that, some of the buildings look more Austrian or Germanic than we typically think of Italy, because of southern Italy, that's where we see most of the pictures. And I guess the food is probably closer to German than southern Italian.
I grew up, with the favorite food of my father, like his grandmother, his mother cooking for him. So my mother always did her best. And yes, have a lot of things, there. Um, I have I grew up and as well around my city, we have there too, because we have a lot of German, and Italians, so that mix, people coming. So always I grew up with all that. But I'll tell you something, I never in my life, I had so much good food and water, the water from the mountains, because in Brazil, when you're going to the littoral for the beaches, you're going down, you have the water coming, the cars stop to get that fresh water, and I remember that. But when I got there, I thought, no, hold on, let me go. When I drink that water, I swear, look like clean you. When you throw in your face, man, it's so fresh, it's so good, I can't describe that. And the air there, is something wonderful. It's the part we are now in Dolomites, in the
Yeah.
Alps.
Well, yeah, and that's why it was part of the Austrian Empire for, quite a long time. And yeah, a lot of Germanic heritage. And my two children are adopted, and at one time we were considering doing an adoption from South America. They were suggesting Paraguay. And that's when I learned that there were so many Italians and Germans in Paraguay and Uruguay and Argentina. Never knew that, never thought about it,
Yes, they are. Before, when I doing my search about Zalini get in Brazil, they had before 1900s had one group, one family, but they went to Argentina, and they are all from us there. And my the brother of my grandmother, he is staying in Argentina, and he married with Argentina lady, and his family is there. So then my grandmother and her sisters all in Brazil. But have a lot. In Argentina, have a lot, especially because that side of South Brazil and Argentina, the place for them, season, of, the year, mountains, everything.
Were both your parents Italian, or one side was not Italian?
Oh, I'm almost I'm how say, I'm Brazilian now,
Yeah.
a huge mix. But of course, I have a big side of Italian, huge, because from my mother have Portuguese, Italian. They have slaves from Africa. They have the Indian native of Brazil, all back. And I told you Portuguese, Spanish, and Italian, and from Africa, not the white, no, the slaves, and the native of Indians, from Brazil. So it's a huge mix. My grandmother, the mother of my mother, she is very white with a very, very green eyes. Straight hair, not dark, but not blonde. My mother had very curly hair, but her eyes are extremely caramel color. Caramel. Caramel color, extremely. Is wonderful when you look it's unique. And my father then, Italian, because his father, born in Brazil, but his grandparents from his father, born in Italy. I do not got there yet, but it's a very popular last name as well. But I hope I can reach there sometime. I'm a salad.
Yeah. Well, you know, my wife is her mother's family was from Sicily and her father was from Puerto Rico. And she's got, like you, she's got everything. She's got Norwegian, she's got some African, she's got some Indian, because her grandmother, very obviously, you know, you could see that she was, you know, had Indian blood in her, or at least American Indian blood in her. And so is that when you did you did DNA, right? Is that what it showed, all this mix?
No, I don't believe on that stuff. So how I say,
No.
when I discover about Cimbre and I start seeing things, I say, oh, now I start to see about myself. I start to understand because I have many questions about myself. I'm completely different from my mother and my sisters.
Mhm.
I'm more like my father. And in the same time, you know, when you feel lost, and when I start seeing, I thought, oh, I think now I start to understand about myself, you know, what I believe, what I don't believe. Don't make me believe. If I believe that what you say to me today, I do not, maybe tomorrow you believe, but I have to find my own way to, you know, that to believe. I will not believe in the first time like that. So, no. Since is another part, many people can understand, many not, believe or not, but since I'm a kid, I remember around my 8 years old, I start to see, hear, and feel. And when I dream, I can tell you, depend of my dream, I can give you dates, you know, time, like frame to something happen. And I don't like, because Brazil, we have that side, you know, of religion, what is the spirit,
Mhm.
what is not a spiritual. Spiritual is something like, it's not religion, but they have another side. And always they told I have to bring that. And for me, it's not my, you know, my comfort zone. It's not me, not my idea. Connect with spiritual, you know, understand that side. I'm very open always, and I always look for that. But like that kind of religion, I'm not kind of religion, you know, 100%. I have my beliefs, and there you go. So I start to see and feel things, but the time I try to get the papers to have support, you know, from Italy, of my grandmother born and the year and the woman I can't receive. So then we don't have that technology too much that time, so I forgot about. Past years, one time I decided a picture I post there for you, I gave, and have something in the back, right? I post on Facebook, but I do not have nothing about. Then later, you know, I started to discover about the group. So I tried to go direct on the groups of, you know, Italian, you know, to see if somebody knows. What's happened on the last, was September, October, November of 2021. I'm not sleeping well for every single night. I look like I've been like half in my body and half out. And I can hear them talking with me. Some words I can kind understand, some not. They come close, they go far, and was more than one people. And it's kind of like dark. I can't see well then, you know. But for 3 months, they come in the middle of the night and, you know, on me. I wake up like, they want to talk with me, they want to show me something, but who? No, I don't know. So, and that started, boiling inside me because taking longer and I can't sleep well. I start, I have work and I have things to deal with that is not my life, that drive me crazy. What they want. And many times I say, who are you people, talk with me straight, or I don't know, but bring that information better for me, make simple. Then it stopped. In 3 months, stopped completely. Past like 2 weeks, I told you, no, I have my grandmother picture. I will try again. From nothing related. I don't know they are talking with me about her. So I post. When I post, then come every single thing. And it's funny because the book of my relative, Innocente, he just launched that book on the time they was calling me.
Mm. There's no accidents.
Things we can't explain, no?
No, and I've heard other stories like that. But so did you figure out who they were?
Of course, I found every single thing. And the funny thing, because in the book, Innocent, 2 children, okay, they once left, okay, from my grandparents. What is my grandmother? One of her sisters. When I saw that, I thought, hold on, stop. First, he putting her birth, the date of her birthday wrong. I believe more on my grandmother, what I remember, than him. And then I told him, no, is that the date? I told him, how you can't find her birth certificate? And then right away enter another person. He have a passion. You may know him. If not, I can introduce because he love about all that, okay? Like the Italians, the immigration, the people, he help as well. And he told, your grandmother is Giuseppina Lisena Cadorim de Angelo. She have registered in Farra del Pago. Next to my relative. So I thought, okay, boy, mamma mia, how he can't discover that. You see how I talk, hands, body. So he helped Innocent actually, giving some information. So I send an email to Farra del Pago, Tambre, and Belluno, they send to me her birth certificate. But the truth, she born in Lyon, France, but they register her there. But there don't say that is from my grandmother, and I do believe on her. And also after, how I told you, had a time in Italy, they call all the men to be there in the country. And they was back, my grandmother. I do not believe all her sisters, because was older than her, probably already have boyfriends, something like that, and stay. And was her brother. One son they have in Brazil, Guido, what I knew later now. And her, they went to Brazil. To Italy back, and in the book, nobody told me, like, Innocent, tell me things, Innocent, my relative. People don't tell, and I reading things about like all the births, who was the godfather, the godmother, and I see my grandmother there representing my father. So he was with the men's, and when born in children, and supposed, to be the godfather, she was there representing. So for the period, like almost like 6 years, they was there in Italy back, and she told that, and nobody believed. And yes, she was right. She was there, but she don't want to go back to Brazil. Her father told, no, you are going back, because she have a guy she love. He went to that war too, and second told, look like he died on this war. I'm not sure, but was the love of her life at the end of her life. she married with my grandfather, everything, but she never forgot about this man.
Oh, wow, that's something. And it's funny that you mentioned that story. My wife, when she was a little girl, maybe, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old, her mother's name was Josephine. And they lived in a building in New York City. And she said it was late at night, and they heard a woman outside calling her mother, Josephine, Josephine, but spooky. And they looked out the window and they saw this old woman, typical Italian style woman with the black dress and the gray hair and all of that.
Probably
And she
cleaning
she
the
kept calling.
sidewalk too, no?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry.
And she
Because they
kept
say Italians clean the sidewalk, the street, you know.
what they do. We just saw that recently. But they didn't, her mother didn't know who she was, but she said she was kind of just floating there, uh, like in the courtyard and calling her mother. And they never figured out who this person was. So it's funny that things happen in strange ways that we can't explain. And I tell people all the time, you're gonna find something months, maybe years later, that you couldn't find, that all of a sudden it's going to be there.
How I told you when I was, now I start looking more what say. You may find everything you and may not like or may like, or may you don't you find everything too, and you have to accept that and let go and keep the information you have and be happy, because have things you never, and I know that from my side, have things that you never, one thing I like to put here in point for you, in the arrival, the first time in Brazil, from my grandfather, Cesare, Caesar, no? Cesare, but Caesar, he know how to write and read. And there was a point they asked for everybody arriving, okay? And I remember the museum of the immigrants in Brazil, when they send me, the email back. And this lady, she put that part. Your grandfather, he know how to write and read. If you look on the papers there, the note, what was something very, very rare for many immigrants, the number arriving, is very rare. So that's why we kept very well our last name, is why I have that mix, of people lose and don't know because they don't know how, to tell the another one, write the name there. If you don't, can I write for you? Or is, some way make right? Because if they don't know who listening from another country, they will try to put it in the best way they think it is. So, and funny because he did it so well. And from my grandmother, her 4 sons, all they have the Azaline correct, but already from, and my father's side, when had Azaline, yes, I'm the second daughter. I'm the daughter from second marriage, okay? But so my brothers have brothers, all Azaline correct. And, but the funny, from his brother, already it start coming wrong. Not Azaline correct. Then I thought, okay, no, que coisa, it's something so important, to not lose that, lineage, like that path of the family. So is why many people get lost and can't find really the family.
Yeah, and my case was the same thing. My grandparents, all my grandparents were able to read and write, except for my mother's mom, and I know that because when she had to register as an enemy alien during World War II in America, she signed with an X, and my mother's oldest sister signed her name as a witness. But my grandfather, her husband, signed his name. So she never learned to read or write. But yeah, we kept our names all stayed. Our names didn't get lost in translation when they came into Ellis Island. So one more,
That is good.
yeah, one more question.
I don't have Azaline in my last name, okay? I do not have because I'm in the second marriage. So I carry the Angelo now from my grandfather, and Silva is now very popular, is my mother. Yeah, so I don't care, but I feel one. I feel more than many one in my family. They're all together. I feel like I am Azaline as well, a Cimbre because I'm a woman. And especially my father is the only one having two marriages and a family with both. I'm the last daughter of him, from second marriage. And no one found nothing about the family, everybody there, on the corner waiting for something. I'm the one always, I'm curious, and I went there and I found out. I think they know, and they came to me as well too,
Oh, I believe that. I believe that we're chosen by them or somebody to do this.
Well, Angelica D'Angelo. No, the angel bring the good messages. So who knows?
Yeah, yeah. So one more last question before we go. Do you know, because in America there were certain ports where the ships would go. Was that the case in South America also, that the ships would go to certain ports?
In that time, they most go, Santos, Porto of Santos, São Paulo. And there where they arrived, my family, okay. And was the Indiana, the vapor call. I'm not sure if in Santa Catarina, Joinville, have like the port that time received. I think was the most was São Paulo. It may have another one, but São Paulo was the point.
Yeah, yeah. And in the late 1800s, a lot of Italians were supposed to go, or thought they were going to go to South America, but they brought them to New York City because it was closer and just left them there and never brought them to South America.
When I was in Italy, for more, I was there places where they call Passage. It's not a city, it's a Passage. And all Cimbre, another families, okay? Because the last Cimbre villa, they are with 4 families, okay? But when see me and my daughter, oh, Americanas, then come Innocente, skin Italian, no? Cimbre, always with the finger, Cimbre, like this. I thought, wow, no, I'm feeling good here, no? If you say mafia is bad, people, I don't want them in bad, it's just the way, like things. I'm joking, but I'm not joking bad way. It's just like innocent way to talk, I am feeling here good, look like this is a mafia, well, and then because I'm from Campon, and we have the party on the first Saturday of August. Then I asked Innocente, are you coming to the party? He told, oh, no, like that. Thought, oh my, no? Why? No, only Campon. I'm not Campon, I'm Piancanai. But if you're my friend, you're my guest. No, your daughter, your husband, only people like you, very like to your friend. No, they are not allowed you bring another person. I thought, wow, wow,
Wow.
okay. Okay, no. So yeah, they're very close. When you talk about mafia, I'm sorry to cut you. I don't want to be rude, but like it come to my mind right in the way, you know. Sounds silly, but make me feel like kind of important as well.
That is funny. I mean, you don't think about that happening in, this day and age, right? You think, well, what's the difference? Everybody goes, but
Exactly, exactly. Then I thought, I'm not blue blood, you know. I not found the pot of gold on the end of the rainbow, but I'm feeling kind of one, you know, in some way, you know, very special because I'm from a special, you know, people.
well, and it's funny you say that because when we went to um, the towns where my father's mother, uh, they were nobility, and when we went to those towns, they treated me like very special, and I couldn't understand. And I asked why. I said, why? I'm nothing. And they said, no, no, we we go back 300, 500 years, and that's your family. So, you are. And I still don't understand. It's very foreign to me to think that somebody so distant, from these people and from Italy would be treated in such a manner. But they don't forget anything over there. It's not like here.
But how do you show yourself for them as well? That is, I think, is very important in any place, okay? Especially when you go back with, you know, to you know, places of your ancestries and being together with some, you know, relatives as well. It's not easy when you are lost and find, you know, you found and then get it together. Everybody get ahead with that. And but that is up to you too, you know. You have to be a person accepting that as well, accepting everybody. I'm the person, I'm like so friendly, smiling. I think don't have one, don't want, you know, say, no, I want to sit here and let's have it, see if we can have some conversation. Because for me, I don't have the bad time, you know, I'm happy here and just let bring happiness. Everybody treat me so well too there too, very well. Like you told, they treat me well too.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Well, it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you taking the time. And it's always great to get somebody else's perspective on these things because everybody's story is similar but different, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. And just for you see like how happened with me is not like normal happen with many people. It can be as well, and we don't know. But if you go in YouTube later, you know, from the name, I you know, from the book, you know, Chantas Aline, he have some interviews, have some stuffs in YouTube about like try to explain about Cimbre, the people, you know, back and back, you know, because a lot of things, a lot of history, and is we are kind of like extinct, you know, like especially the language, because it's not a
Mhm.
dialect, it's a language. And Asiago is one place definitely they putting in the schools to the children learn as well, beside Italian and English, but Cimbre, and putting in the streets names, you know, in Cimbre as well. So they are trying, you know, I think the another villas, you try to work on that to, you know, to not die the language. And
Yeah.
just to bring short, I studied in Brazil 2 years in this international Germany non-school. Portuguese, I was very good. English, I was, and German. Uh, I don't know. I do not know nothing about, in the time. And I was A++. I can sing, I can dance, I can read, I was like in the top of my learning that 2 years of the school. I was great. And who knows, I forgot everything because in that time it was the most place for you private after school can have, be teaching, the language. Another places you can't find German so well in my city in that time, later came. So when you stop, you lose a lot. I don't have nobody to speak as well. So I lost. But I had my pronouncing, everything what, when come from German, it's not an easy language. For who was bad English, and speaking German, what a hell, no? So sometimes I think, I have more than one person inside me. Was not possible.
Well, thanks again.
I want to say thank you. It's a pleasure to be here and to talk a little bit, just a tiny, I don't know too much, a little bit. When I discovered, I was in the same year there, and in the time of the celebration, of San Osvaldo is the saint of the Azzalini family. I met my cousin there. So was right after the pandemic and the Ukraine problems there. So not too many people, but I decided to go with my daughter. And in the museum, when I told you there, we have a lot of things about the Cimbre or how they help, if gondolas there in the past in Venezia was like 3 floors or more, was huge. Things are made like very big. So everything have there what we help. Containers for transportation. Cimbre, they negotiated to stay there in the forest, helping to save, giving for the who traveling like a night to a place to stay in the night, to shower and eat, protecting, and as well the crafting, and they use a lot for transportation for food, because the wood in the time was like a oil. So they stay, they don't pay to stay there, they construct the houses. Later in years, they divide it. You need to have it, the size, you have it, do things. Have a time they open and the 2 families get there inside, but then they stop it. And nobody else, if you have a house available there, is only Cimbre can buy. No one else. Yes. Wow. And so how I told this from, my grandfather, he is the one responsible, Clemente Zenobio Azzalini, to open that road, what, help a lot with Veneto for the transportation as well. And I have a lot to learn, to find, and you can find many things on YouTube as well, like, about, Cimbre people.